Hello and welcome back to the Skytiger Gaming table. I'm your host Wildscarr.
And I'm Mystic.
Today on the table we're going to be doing our top 5 games from this year that we've either played or acquired and that we get back to the table regularly. We also have a couple honorable mentions that we'll throw in there, but we'll get to those a little bit later. Right now we'll go ahead and start with Mystic's number 5.
All right, so my 5 is Dreadful Meadows, designed by Lucas Adam. So this one's my favorite. Well, number 5 anyways, because the graphics are adorable, but also it reminds me of those games that we would play on Facebook with friends where you'd build gardens and you'd grow things to make other things. Well, that's kind of the same concept, only you're building a garden to grow candies. And then you use those to make other concoctions. So it's just a fun, quick little game. And it also has solo mode.
All right. So I enjoyed that one too. It's the one that we picked up at Halloween this year. It was kind of the one that we premiered for our Halloween video. So we do have I believe we did a tutorial and a playthrough for that one. So my number 5 on the list this year is a new one from this year. It's actually Vantage from Stonemaier Games. It was designed by Jamie Stegmaier. Apparently he worked on this game for, I don't know, 8 years leading up to the release. What kind of drew me to this one was it was kind of a nostalgic feel for all those choose your own adventure books back from the 80s and 90s. You basically get one vantage of what you're looking at. You can play up to 6 players, and you're crash land on a planet, and you just choose which way you want to go, what pathway. And I've probably played this game probably 20 times, maybe a few more. And it's always been a different game. I've played single player, I've played 2-player with Mystic and I, and then I've also played a 4-player with actually a 3-player with 2 other friends. And it was a different feel each time, and each time it went in a different kind of way. Some people say it kind of feels like you're playing solo with friends, but it's still, you're kind of helping each other out at that point too, because you can put some of your challenge dice on other people's cards to kind of help, like they're giving you a morale boost. So that's my number 5 for this year. And I have done a unboxing, and this is the one I actually did my Vantage from my Vantage, where I wore my tack helmet and did a first-person view from playing it. So go check that one out in our videos. And
So I was okay with Vantage. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just not my type of game. So I only played a couple of times. And the second time I wound up in a loop where I was going underwater, above water, underwater. And yeah, I was done after that. So yeah, it's just not for me. But it is a good game if you like that kind of thing.
So that's my number 5. So now we'll move on to Mystic's number 4.
Heat, Pedal to the Metal. We did a lot of videos on this one. It has a lot of mixtures of things because I love card games. And so we have the different cards and we build our deck, and that's what moves our cars. Well, I also love racing. So it was just a mixture of both. And that's why I enjoyed it so much.
All right. And this one for me is actually going to be my number 2. So the reason for this is kind of what started the channel. It's not what started my top-down playthroughs. I'll do a separate video for that one. But when I started YouTube, this was the game that kind of got the ball rolling. So if you go back and look at my tutorial and first videos, you can see just how bad they really are. But it just shows that you got to start somewhere. So that's why this one is high on the list. Plus, it's fast cars, and you can play with the core game. You can play up to 6 players. If you have the expansions, which we have both of them for Heavy Rain and Tunnel Vision, you can, each expansion adds a player, so you can play up to 8 people with this one. And then depending on how many people you have, if you have other tokens and whatnot, if you wanted to add in the bot players, you can even expand the grid even more to make it even more insane if you wanted to. So this one you can do quite a bit with it.
Well, and the solo mode is just as fun.
Oh yeah,
because he did a lot of solo modes.
And with this one, this game also, it's not just you're going to go, then your player to your left, and you go on a clockwise. It's whoever is in first place is the first one that goes, and then it goes from there. So one round, I might be going first. The second round or the second turn, if she passes me for whatever reason, by the way of the cards or just the slipstream or whatever factors, I mean, it's just...
It was an easy play too.
Yeah, it didn't seem like the rules were that hard. The technique and the mechanics and trying to find cards that mesh well, that's another aspect. But for the most part, it's pretty easy, especially when you're introducing new people to something that's more than just like Monopoly or Chutes and Ladders. This would kind of be a good introductory to something like that as well. Just because of the progression, because you have your starter cards, and then you can have the basic upgrades, and then you can go full bore into your advanced upgrades. So it has a lot of options to it as well. So, and not only does it come, it actually comes with 4 boards in the base game, so you're not always racing on the same track as well. And then it has a season mode and all kinds of stuff. So it's just a good game all around. So that's why that sits number 3 on mine and number 4
for me.
So, and my number 4 is also a new one from this year. This is Battle of Hoth by Days of Wonder. This is actually based off of their Memoir 44, where it has a hex grid, and you're basically doing the Battle of Hoth from Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back, where the rebels are going to have the snow speeders and the artillery emplacements. The Imperial will have the AT-AT and Imperial probe droids, and there's a few other options. There's a whole book that shows, I think it's like 17 different scenarios you can do. There's another 18th scenario, but you need 2. That's what the Galactic Battles comes in, but you need 2 copies to do that one. But we haven't done that because we only have a single copy. What I really like about this one is that if you go back and look at the videos we've done on this one, each game probably takes 30 minutes to play. I mean, that doesn't include setup time, but the setup isn't really. So you're probably looking, if you sit down for an hour, hour and a half of playtime, you could probably get 2 or 3 games of this in. So, and again, it's another one where the rules are pretty quick to pick up, but finding the cards that kind of mesh well, especially if you start putting your leaders in there. So
yeah, I did enjoy this one. I wasn't expecting to, but it was a quick play, and I enjoyed being able to take down his AT-AT. So that was fun. Even found a shirt to match it, so that was cool.
That's right. We have a short for that one, and so far it's like the highest running video with the most views that I have. So I'll put a link to that one. Might even insert that one while we're talking about it, so you can see it falling over with the sound effects. So
yeah, overall, I mean, it was a good game. It just didn't rank as high on my list.
Right. All right. So, and that was my number 4. So now we'll go into Mystic's number 3.
Horrified, World of Monsters. I wasn't sure I was going to like this one, to be honest, but I enjoyed it. I loved the little monsters following you around, and then people would come in and you'd have to save them. And it's a very quick game. It was pretty easy to catch on to, and the little tiles that you pick up, just everything about it was just fun and engaging. I mean, you really did have to engage both players together to figure out strategies, and I enjoyed that.
Yeah, and I think this is the first one where it's a cooperative game where you're actually trying to work together to defeat the monsters that are on the board. And you can start off simple by doing just 2 monsters, and then you could ramp it up to make it more difficult. The thing about the Horrified series is that there's actually, I believe, 5 other games. We have this one, which is the World of Monsters, and then we have the D&D version of it. They have a few others, like the classic Monsters was the very first one where you're fighting Dracula, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, and all the rest of them. It's Werewolf and the Mummy. So that's the classic one. Then they came out with one which was like North American Monsters. It has like the I can't even remember what's all in there. It has the oh man, I can't even think. Wow, put me on the spot. I can't think what the little stupid creature is from down along the border. Oh, that's gonna drive me nuts now.
I have no idea.
It'll come to me a little bit later on in the video probably, but they have stuff like that, and then they can all kind of mix together. We actually did one where we tried to take on Cthulhu and the Red Dragon in the same one, and
They kicked our butt.
pretty horrible. But there's a video up. But at the same time, and there's times where this game will kick your butt, and other times you get everything in the right area and it just comes out. So,
but it was very enjoyable.
So, alrighty. And then my number 3, I believe, is your number 2.
Okay.
So, Terraforming Mars. I know this one came out a long time ago. I believe it was 2016 is when this one came out. But it's, we just picked it up this year. And what took us so long, I don't know. But it fast became one of the top, well, I'll put obviously the top 5 games just because of the way that it meshes and kind of goes with the play styles. And it's not cooperative per se. I mean, you're terraforming Mars together, but you're still trying to see who can get the most points doing it. And all the different cards are just, there's so many different ways you can go with it. So, and we've only really scratched the surface on this game so far. I know there's a lot of expansions for it, but we still have the base one. And we haven't even put the corporate expansion cards into a game yet, so we haven't gone that deep. And I believe we've only played, what, twice with the advanced corporations.
Yeah.
So
it's my number 2 because it was a simple play. Well, okay, I say simple. It wasn't that simple. Some of our other ones are. But it was quick to pick up. And I loved the idea of all the resources, because we have a little card that goes over here that we stack our resources on, and it gets reset every time. And then we get money that we spend, and it just, everything about this one was enjoyable.
yeah, and the stacking, I'll put a little graphic up on the screen. There was one time where I had my credits at like 42, which is the magic number to the answer of everything. And I had like 4 little blocks stacked up on one another, and I had to be careful not to shake the table and knock it over. So it's kind of interesting.
Yep.
So that is my number 3. No, number 2.
No, it's your number 3, my number 2. So now we do your number 2 because this took care of both of those. Oh, your number 2 was Heat. And so we already went over that.
So yeah, so we've already went over Heat. That was my number 2. So right now we do have a couple of honorable mentions. So, and these are Mystic's honorable mentions.
So Sequence and Cards Against Humanity. So I'm going to start with this one. It is a fun game to play with a whole bunch of people. Forewarning, some of these cards are pretty bad. In fact, the last time we played, I said the next time we play this one, I am pulling some cards out of it because they were just not my liking. But it's a fun game, not for kids.
Hence why they call it Cards Against Humanity.
So we usually all laugh, and that's why I love it, because we just all get a good laugh out of it. You want to talk about that?
I mean, it's pretty much, I mean, this is like the adult version of Apples to Apples.
That's another good one.
apples to apples is good for children and kids, you know, younger than 10, 12, whatever. But then you get into the like adult games. Yeah, this one is definitely not for kids. So I think there's an age limit. Yeah, it says right here it's age 17 plus. So, and some of the cards in here, I mean, just on the back, you can see um, coming to Broadway said, dude, do not go in that bathroom. There's blank in there. And then you have to put, you know, like this one says glory holes or into the stream of diarrhea. So yeah, it's definitely not one for kids. So, but
And
fun, makes everybody laugh whenever the thing comes out.
oh,
So
always. And then Sequence. I love this game. So we played this one at a couple's house on New Year's Eve. And the next day we went and bought this game because I enjoyed it so much.
yep.
It's, you know, you have your game or your hand of cards, and you have to play one so that you get them lined up. If you're playing two people, you're against each other. If you're playing four, then you have teams that you're playing with. And it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, it says right there on the box. It's fun, challenging, exciting, and it's sequence. So it kind of it's sort of like fancy bingo in a way, because you do have the you use a deck of cards and they're laid out strategically across the board, and there's two suits of each card on the board, and you just kind of line them up, and you have to get different lines, and you can blue us like, hey, you need a square to get these, or a patch, or a line, or you need 3 of one or 2 of one, whatever you want your challenge to be. And you know, there's it has the jacks, the different jacks do different things. The one-eyed jack is one thing, two-eyed jacks do something else, like remove
Yeah, you can
stuff.
remove
I
another
don't remember
player.
which one is which, but we'll get this one to the table at some point and do an actual playthrough and kind of see how it goes. But this one is good. It's what is it? Yeah, it says on the side you can do from 2 to 12 players. Now the most we've ever done is 4, but it'd be interesting to see how 12 players playing this game would go. I think it's played with teams.
Yes, it is.
So there's 3 colors in here. I don't remember. Let's see.
Can't remember if there was 3 or.
So
there's 3.
There's 3 colors, so you'd be playing teams. So it's and you would sit across from one another playing teams, and you're not supposed to share what cards you have, and that's kind of the, you know, strategy is kind of working together to figure it out. And whatnot. So those are the honorable mentions for Mystic. My honorable mentions, and I need to set some of these on the floor because these two are heavy games. This one, and the only reason why we don't get these to the board on a regular occasion is this one is Star Wars Rebellion. This is basically Risk for Star Wars. It has everything from the original 3 movies, so A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi, and you can play it in a different order. You're basically trying to find, like, one player plays the Rebels, one player plays the Imperials. The Rebel has a hidden base that they're trying to keep hidden. The Imperials are trying to find the base. But there's different cards throughout the game that relate to different events in the movie, and you have different leaders. For example, you know, in the movie, in Empire Strikes Back, Luke went to Dagobah to train to be the Jedi. Well, if you don't have Luke, but you have that card, you can make Han Solo go train in Dagobah, or Princess Leia, or whoever you have to do that. It's got the stuff, you know, just seeing the models of the Death Star move across the board are pretty interesting because you can have up to 2 Death Stars on the board, and there's one that's like under construction, and you can blow up planets. So, but the only problem with this is a table hog, and I believe the last time we put it on the board, because last time we put it on our table, it came right to the edge of our mat, and then you have to have player mats that go below that to keep track of everything, and there's just not enough room to get it all on the screen. But we'll see I don't know. Now that we have multiple cameras, we'll see if we can make something work in the future for it. But this one doesn't get to the table as often as I'd like, just because it's a table hog. My other honorable mention, because I have two as well, is Aliens, Another Glorious Day in the Core. This one is one of my favorites for two reasons. Aliens is like best movie ever. So
Debatable.
best movie ever. My wife doesn't know what she's talking about on this one. I will argue with anybody. It is the most quotable movie in history.
I do quote it as well.
The classic, game over, man, game over. Is everybody says that. And if you don't know what it's from, then you need to go watch this movie. It's not only that, the movie is just awesome. And this game ties directly into that, because they could have went like some games that do this and like had art commissioned and done artwork and special stuff. But no, this game takes artwork straight from the movie and ties it into this game. And especially if you get the expansions, because it's a table hog already, and when you get the expansions like what is it, Get Away From Her, You Beep, and the other one, Ultimate Badasses, it adds so much more to it that it really becomes a table hog there, because not only do you have the tiles that make the different boards, but then you have the player cards, and you have 6 different player cards. But the bonus to this one is a 1 to 6 player. So there is a solo mode, and solo is pretty much just like regular, because you just decide which players you're going to be hero characters and which ones are going to be cadet characters. So it's good. I like it. So any comments on either one? Because I think I skipped over before I commented on the
So
other.
I didn't play this one with you. So I don't remember how this one worked, even watching you play it.
Okay.
The other one, it is enjoyable if you like Risk. I'm not a Risk person. In fact, I get conned into playing Risk a lot because that's the one my son likes to play. But it was enjoyable.
Yeah, that was a funny time, because she was like, I'll play whatever game you want. And I think our son was probably 10 at the time. He runs over to our shelf, and our shelf at the time probably had maybe 8 games on it. But it was, what is it, Lord of the Rings Risk?
Yes.
And she's like, I'll play this one. And we played it.
So, yep. I told him I wanted you to play a game, so I had to play what he picked.
So it just kind of works sometimes. So, but those are my honorable mentions. I'll try to get this one out to the board. I might save this one for Aliens Day, because that's the time to play this game. It's time to watch the movie, play the game.
Yeah, I'll play it with you.
I believe 4 or 5 years ago when I bought this, I have a picture. I've got my pulse rifle. I got the movie. I've got the game. I'm all into it. So, and I'll try to see if I can find that image and put a graphic up on the screen for you. So that's it for our honorable mentions. Excuse the dust. Every time we put something on this black mat, it just picks up everything. Might need to look at getting a different one, but right now this is what we got. And this one is a mat by Big Viking Mats. So it comes out pretty good, because what I like, and while we're talking about it, what I like about this one is it's thick and patty and cushiony. And we were able to, when we ordered this, we measured our table, because we wanted to have a little bit off of the table so we could put like drinks and phones and stuff, and then the mats. And when you put a card on the mat, you can kind of push down on one corner to pick up the cards easier. It makes it pretty easy. So, and then if you're playing something like X-Wing, like X-Wing miniature battles, where you're very, very cautious about where you have to put your vehicles and where things move, they don't slide on this one like they would on a normal tabletop. So good mat. I like it.
Oh yeah.
You can cut it to whatever size, and they'll send it to you. So
yeah, I think this one came with a smaller mat as well.
Yeah, and it came for for free, like a quick little, like it almost looks like a mouse pad about the size. I was thinking it was like
No,
24 by 12,
it's
so it is a
larger than
little
a
bit
mouse
larger,
pad.
but it's good if you wanted to do that for like if you're big into collectible card games like Magic
Yep.
or Pokemon or something like that. It makes a good little play mat for that.
Oh
So,
yeah.
although I can't stand those games. So, but anyway, I won't delve into that. But we'll go into Mystic's #1 pick.
That would be Everdale. So this one has got such cute little graphics. You got your little animals and then their little buildings that they go with. And it's a deck building game in a way. And then you have, so you play your cards together so that you can play one free. And I'm not doing a good explanation of this. That's the reason we do separate videos.
It's a tableau builder is what they call it, where you're, because a deck builder is where you're playing a deck of cards and whatnot, and then the tableau is where you're placing it down.
Okay, so
it's the same with like Terraforming Mars or Lost Ruins of Ornax. Well, no, Lost Ruins of Ornax is more of a deck builder, but yeah, you're building a tableau. Go ahead.
But I love card games. Like that is one of my biggest things. And this one does it with the cute graphics. And it even has like a little tree that we put our little meeples on. And it's just a lot of cuteness. And it doesn't take too long. Well, I say that. It can take long. We've had our moments with it. But we both enjoyed it.
And just like Aliens and Star Wars Rebellion, those are table hogs, and this one is almost a good table hog because of the board. Not only the board that goes on there, but that tree probably is a good, 12 inches that sits up the table. And if you have, I think we've tried to play 4 players around this table,
We did.
and it was like it was stretching the limits. It's probably not something we would be able to get on video, but
not with 4
it
players.
would stretch the limits of where everything, and then you have to decide, it's like what side do you want to put the tree and the board on, and then some of the text on the card is really small for my old eyes, and especially the cards that you put on the tree, what are those, the special events?
Special event cards.
And we relocated those down to where they're a little bit more manageable. So, but it is a cute game. It's not one I really expected to like. I looked at it for a while, and then we actually rented it from a local game store and fell in love with it, and here it is. So, I mean, it doesn't rank on my top 5 just because I have others, but if we had a top 10, it would be on my top 10 list. So, and my top 10 is probably the one that takes the longest to play. This is my top 1 at the moment, and it is SETI, The Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence, put out by Chech Games Editions, and it is almost a table hog. We haven't got this one to the table just yet. Tried to do a few videos of tutorials and just can't. I'm not happy with the way they're turning out, but we're trying. But what I like about this one is it's not really a deck builder. It's more of I wouldn't even call it like a worker placement game, because I mean, you technically are placing, you're not really placing workers to get stuff back, but you're launching probes, you're scanning the solar systems, you're analyzing data to find aliens, and there's 2 different aliens that you're working to discover. The base game comes with 5 aliens, and you're only playing against 2 each game. And once you discover them, it changes it a little bit, so you kind of have to be a little flexible on what you're doing. But so far, I mean, I've enjoyed it just because of the space aspect of it. And the card deck, I believe it's 100 or 200 and something cards that go along with this game, and every single card is different, and every single card is related to something that was either done in the past with space, like NASA or other space agencies, or stuff that is planned for the near future. like one of the, not to spoil too much, but one of the alien species is a Moa, which is the first extra, or what they call it, the interplanetary objects. So, I mean, there's another one, 3i Atlas, that is going through the solar system right now. I have a feeling if there was another expansion, that would be one of the other aliens. But since they did a Moa, that's probably why it's not coming. There is an expansion coming out for this, like any time now. So might pick that up at some point, but this right now is my #1 favorite. And I think really another reason why it's the favorite is because the center of the solar system board spins as you're playing the game, just like, you know, the solar system turns around the sun and whatnot. Plus, we were able to wire up a little bitty flashing blinky light inside of the sun, so it kind of works out. So
I enjoyed this game more than I expected. When he first got it, I was thinking, all right, I'm not going to care for this. But I did enjoy it. Now, here's the thing, though. It gets complicating. So the cards that you have, you can use them in so many different ways other than just what's on the card, like the writing. Mm-hmm. And each one of them are really good. So I'm like, I don't want to give this up for that because I want to use it for this. And it takes a lot of thinking. And just when you think you've got it figured out and things are starting to flow, we open up one of the aliens. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, it would get very frustrating for me for those reasons. But I did still enjoy it, and it would be on a top 10 list for me.
Yeah, and it plays over 5 rounds, so you think, oh, 5 rounds, that's not that long. But each round gets progressively longer because you open up more options and more things you can do. The first time we played this game, and granted we had to figure out the learning curve, I think it took us 4 hours to play this one.
It did. It's one of the longest ones we've played.
And then the second time we played it, we got it down to like 3 hours. So, I mean, it definitely takes a good chunk, and I've actually talked to other people, and they pretty much saying the same thing. So that would probably be one of the only things that keeps this from getting to the board more often than not is the time it takes to play this one. And introducing this game to new people would be challenging just because, you know, hey, that's going to take, you know, just to do 2 players. Our first game took 4 hours. So I have a feeling doing this at 4 players, that's going to take a good, you know, good chunk of time.
Oh yeah, it's taking all day.
So that's not something you want to start at night. Yeah, it's something you'd want to start at like noon and play throughout the day and maybe finish off with something lighter at the end of the night. So, but that's it for my #1. So anything else to add?
No, I think that was it.
All right. So that was our top 5 for each of us. So technically it's like a top 10, but more like a top 5 for our 2024 year in review. It's not really a year in review, but I guess it is kind of a year in review. So, all right. Hopefully this helped. I would probably say if any of these, if you are looking for like a holiday purchase, I would say Terraforming Mars or Battle of Hoth if you're looking for something light. If you know your friends are gamers, you probably have a lot of these already. But I think all of the boards or all of the games that we had on the table were all under like $100. So they're not overly expensive. They're not over. I mean, especially with the weight. This SETI is probably the second heaviest box in our collection, with Vantage being the heaviest, just because of the 1,300 cards in that one. But this one, I mean, it just has a lot in the box, so you're getting a lot of value. So that's probably what that would be my recommendations if you're looking at this top 5 for holiday purchases. Those would be my recommendations. The other difference is Everdale and the Horrified series. You can find those at Target, so they're pretty easy to locate. Some of these other ones you'll have to find maybe a local game store. Because shoot, I know when I was looking at SETI, I couldn't even find it on Amazon. So You'll have to go find one of your local game stores, which is always good, man. I would always support your local game store when possible, because without them, well, I mean, without them, you probably wouldn't have a network of games. Like one of our local ones out here close to us, they have board games you can rent, just like when we rented Everdale. So, plus you can meet other people that might be aligned with your play styles and find other people in the hobby. So, anything else?
No, that was it. We appreciate y'all watching.
All right. So hopefully this helped you. Maybe it earned a subscription or a like, maybe even a comment down below and let us know what your thoughts are. If this doesn't align with your top 5, or if there's other top 5s that we need to look into, let us know. Put it down there in the comments and we'll go respond as soon as we can. And thank you all for watching, and we'll catch y'all on the next one.
Have a good holiday.
Happy holidays.